What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for the first post-match stream of the season. Tottenham 3, Burnley 0. We're going to get into all the player ratings, match reviews, reacts, and all the good stuff that has happened this weekend. However, unfortunately, we have to start the stream on a bit of a sour note regarding a Tottenham update. As we got a here we go? No, but as
we got a here we go again.
Yeah, that's the comment I wanted to bring up. James Morgan. No, that's not even the quote.
That's not the comment.
Peter Hall says, "We always want a here we go, and we always end up with a oh here we go again."
Great comment, Peter. Big up to you.
That is
big up to you.
That is comment of the week there.
And
from
that is how we all feel.
Yeah, and that is
here we are. Here we go again. For sure.
Yeah, look,
Right
let's get into it. Let's get into it, because last night we heard from Miguel Delaney saying that there's complications in the Eberechi Eze to Tottenham situation. Before that, an hour before that, he says, Spurs are on the verge of sealing a 55 million deal for Eberechi Eze. All the reliable journalists saying, yeah, this is so advanced, this is going to get done. Eberechi Eze ain't going to be playing for Palace against Chelsea, which kicks off at 2 o'clock today. However, today we've got some updates. First from Gary Jacobs saying that Eberechi Eze is set to start for Crystal Palace today against Chelsea. Fabrizio Romano says that Eberechi Eze starts today, and some expected the same to happen to Mark Guehi. Clear plan by Ole Glasner. Negotiations for Eze to Tottenham remain advanced, but deal not sealed yet. So Glasner wants to trust Eze. Talks also continue for Guehi to Liverpool, but also not done. David Ornstein says that Eze expected to start for Crystal Palace at Chelsea today. 27-year-old attacking midfielder being targeted by Tottenham, and Tottenham's pursuit ongoing, but no agreement yet as Crystal Palace continue to work on possible replacements. And Miguel Delaney said, should Eze play today, it will represent a significant development, as it has previously been agreed he wouldn't play, so it shows the deal has slowed down. I guess there are a few positives in that kind of segment to go through. I mean, the positives are that Palace is still working on replacements. Mm-hmm. The positives are that Romano's saying that the deal is still advanced. So I think that with Eze potentially playing against Chelsea today, which we'll find out in about, half an hour, around about.
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes, is it?
Yeah, get the score. We'll get the team lineups in 5 minutes.
We'll find out in 5 minutes.
Live reaction.
Live on the update, we'll find out. It is a bit of a kick in the teeth after we're hearing that, he wasn't going to play and the deal was so advanced that he's going to be pulled out of the squad and he doesn't want to play, etc., etc. But I still think this deal's going to get done. Yeah, I mean,
I'm obviously toing and froing with each update that we get. It's like they're kind of just like teasing us.
Without it, though.
Exactly. We never like to do things the easy way, do they? But every step of the way they're like teasing us. It's getting done. It's advanced. Yesterday was like widespread. He's being left out. But although what I want to say, and I was reading all those reports yesterday about him being left out. I think all of them, if you read them all, they're all very cleverly worded. They all say his place is in doubt. They all said he's a doubt to start tomorrow. There wasn't one report that said he's definitely not starting. He was definitely being left out. The only people who had said that, I think, were Indikilia, who we know I know he's got a few things right this window, but he's not the most reliable. And some ITKs. There was no reliable journalists putting their neck on the line saying he won't play tomorrow. They're all saying his place is in doubt. They're all saying he might not play. So no one was actually putting their neck on the line. And also right now they're saying he's set to start, that he's likely to start. That's what they're saying now. No one's saying he's definitely starting, which is also interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, no one really knows until the fact.
Exactly. So I guess we do have to wait till the lineups come out in a few minutes' time. But obviously the fact that the reporting has changed in the last few hours, I think definitely for me means when it's on the negotiating table, something's happened. Because I don't think it's a coincidence that it's widespread reporting yesterday that he's set to be left out of the team and all these different things. That's clearly been a media brief. I think even the press association said that. So there's a media brief there. And then all of a sudden there's a media brief saying he's set to start. So I think
Romano actually says Eze starts today, full stop. He didn't
Eze
even say
does
set
start
to.
today.
Yeah, that's what
okay,
he
so
said.
that
That was 2 hours
most
ago.
others have said set to. Okay, but he says set. Okay, well, I guess he's put his neck on the line there, so that's very interesting. So we'll see in a couple of minutes what the lineup is. But I'm saying definitely something's happened in negotiations. Is it have Tottenham gone back on something, which they said, did they previously agree to more money up front and now they've gone back and said, actually, we're going to go with more payment? So Palace are now saying, okay, if you're going to do that, we're going to put him in the team after previously agreeing something. Are Palace trying to get a few more million out of Tottenham last minute? And they're saying, look, we're going to play him unless you stump up this money full price. Is it just the fact that the deal's not signed and Eze doesn't want to be like Isaac and leave on bad terms? So he's just like, look, if a deal's not agreed, I'm playing kind of thing. Whereas it looked like it was being close to agreement yesterday. I don't think this ends the deal or anything. It's just, as a Tottenham fan, seeing how many deals have gone the wrong way for us and how many deals we've bungled, it obviously gives you a lot of anxiety where it seemed as though we had this deal in both hands yesterday within our grasp, and it seemed as though we was getting over the line and we seemed super confident. Everyone seemed super confident this is happening, and now all of a sudden he's back in the team, and now all of a sudden, if he gets an injury today, that completely changes everything, doesn't it? If it's a serious injury. So that, regardless of whether we feel the fact that he starts changes things, the very fact that he does start, in essence, we're gonna, I'm sure Tottenham are gonna be watching that game with their hands over their eye, but they're maybe watching this game behind the couch, just praying that he doesn't get injured, because that could change everything. So the fact that he does start, in essence, in theory, could put it in jeopardy, not due to the fact that it means that the deal can't get done, but just that it puts in jeopardy that the fact if he gets injured in this game now, then that could change the whole essence of the deal. So that in itself puts a bit of jeopardy on things, which is not what we want at this stage of the deal. So let's just hope everything goes well. But yeah, I agree. If he gets through this game and everything's fine, I still think this deal goes through. But I just wonder what's happened in the last few hours. That no one's really said what's happened. There's been a few little reports saying there's been a lack of agreement in payment terms and stuff like that. And that obviously sounds a lot like Tottenham, doesn't it? When it comes to not stumping the cash up front.
That's what it usually is when a deal snags with Tottenham. It's all about payment terms, structure, money up front, that kind of stuff. And we know that with Eze and Palace have been very kind of strict in terms of letting Eze go, in terms of they wanted a lot of money up front. So I doubt that's changed. Maybe it's softened a little bit, but I doubt that's changed, that they don't want a significant fee up front.
Eze starts, people are saying.
Yeah.
And they, of course they do. They put him in the graphic as well.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Very
Gibbs
reminiscent
White.
of Gibbs White for Nottingham Forest. But yeah, he's front and centre, Eze, of the lineup graphic, and he starts obviously up front with Sarr, Eze and Mateta for Crystal Palace.
And Guehi as well, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Guehi is captain as well on the day. So 2 players that are, expected to leave in Guehi and Eze, both start for Crystal Palace today. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in terms of the future of this deal. Does this have a major impact on it?
There it is.
In terms of from Eze's perspective, I mean, he's given Palace so much. Palace have given him so much. He's been such a loyal servant to them. I don't expect him to want to not play. You know what I mean? He's a very professional player.
And he wants to leave in the right way.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to leave like how Isaac left. Although I would say if he didn't play in this game, I don't think it's comparable to Isaac unless he's refusing to play. That's kind of different. But yeah, he wants to leave in the right way. He wants to leave on good terms. That's just the character. When you're going after players with good character like Eze and even Gibbs White at the time.
I don't think that was
that's
ever,
the thing.
I don't think there was ever any reports of that. He wanted to pull himself out the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the manager and Crystal Palace want him to play, he's going to play. He's contracted to them. So I think maybe people are reading a bit too much into it. It was just a bit of a kick in the teeth because all we heard yesterday is that he's not going to play.
I don't think we are because I think I agree with you. Eze, I don't think himself wants to pull himself out, but I think what was reported was apparently now there was an agreement that he wouldn't play because the deal was so close, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that he's now starting means that something has happened in the deal, in my opinion. So I think you can read something into that in terms of how far along or how progressed this deal is. It's not necessarily about whether it will happen totally by the end of it, but in terms of has something happened, I think the fact that he starts now compared to all the reports yesterday, I think something has clearly happened in this deal and last minute, which has led to Glasner saying, all right, he's going to play now today. And that is really frustrating as a Tottenham fan, because we thought this deal was pretty much wrapped up, and clearly it's not quite that close. And
it's going to be all eyes, isn't it, on the final whistle, and everyone's going to be reading into every single little thing of Eze's. Does he go over to the Palace fans? Is he giving a clap? Is it a clap goodbye? Is it a clap for support? Like, everyone's
going to be goodbye.
It's a clap. I can tell you already. Into everything in terms of what's Eze going to do at the end of this game today.
Can I just say, if we do bungle this, there's going to be it will be the big. Would this be the biggest meltdown in the fan base that we've ever seen?
Mate,
if we bungle this deal,
not only bungle him, but if we bungle him and Savinho and Gibbs White all in the same window.
Oh my God!
The protests are going to be back stronger than ever. I guarantee you that.
If all this stuff is just because we're not willing to put a certain amount of money up front, and we bungle this deal because of financial packaging, that would be the most Levy thing of all time.
They got to be scrambling around in the background, Spurs, saying, look, we just need to get this over the line by hook or by crook. Like, come on. Like, this is desperation mode for Tottenham. Like, we need this player in. It's not even like, oh, it would be nice to have this player in. He's a top quality player. Like, we need him. It is desperation. That's how much we need him. We've got no creator in the team. So let's just hope. Let's just pray that we can get this over the line. But look, all eyes on Stamford Bridge today, and all eyes at the final whistle and see what reaction Eze gives.
Or are Tottenham playing 4D chess? Delay this deal, let Eze maybe get a goal against Chelsea, take some points off them, and then we get the deal sealed.
Mate, I prefer Chelsea to win today and Eze not to play, to be honest. But look, we'll see what happens. In terms of the Savinho deal, Fabrizio Romano said earlier today that he understands Savinho remains keen on Tottenham move as negotiations are not over yet. Tottenham plan to try again for Savinho after the first bid revealed 1 week ago. Man City are closing the doors to exit, but in case of an improved proposal, stance could change. Tottenham want to try again for Savinho. What's your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I'm starting to get worried that I was right when I initially saw this deal, that are we actually serious about it? Like, obviously we want him, and that's clear, and obviously he wants to come here. But as I've said, when I first heard about this deal, we're going to have to overpay for him to get him, because City don't really want to sell and all that kind of stuff, and he's a good player, and they only really want to get rid if they can get a significant fee so they can reinvest that in Rodrigo. So I'm starting to get worried that we thought we could get this done for, like, a deal that would represent fair value, transfer value for him. Like, for example, 55, maybe 60 million or whatever it is. And I'm starting to get worried that City are demanding like 70, and we're not prepared to go that high, because that's in the current transfer market an overpayment when you're looking at the other transfers we've done with or have been done this window with the likes of Cunha in Buemo, even what we've done with Kudus, even Eze, how much he's going for, right? Well, if you're Tottenham, if you're Daniel Levy, you're looking at that, right? And apparently, the rumours are with this Eze deal, we've said to Palace, we look at the Kudus deal as a fair representation of what Eze should be worth. That's apparently the line we're looking at. So if he's drawing a hard stance there with Eze with that kind of fee, and look, apparently we might get it done for that, but if he's doing that, is Levy the kind of character to say, okay, but we're willing to go over that value for Savinho, for a player who's only played 1 year in the Premier League, who's 21, who isn't as proven as all the players I've just mentioned pretty much, and we're willing to pay more for him than we are for for an Eze or these other players. So that's what I'm worried about. Now, I've said before, I think Savinho has that higher ceiling and is that good of a talent that I think we should. And it's an opportunity to bring someone like him in, where in other windows we wouldn't have this opportunity to get someone like Savinho in, where he's willing to leave. It's World Cup year. That kind of talent Even though it's an overpayment, I think it's worth the risk, and I think I would go for it. I'm just worried that Tottenham aren't as serious as I think they are in terms of this deal. In terms of, I think they want to sign him, but are they willing to push the boat out? Are they willing to go that extra mile and put that extra cash up to overpay for him to get this deal done? I'm starting to be sceptical of that, to be honest.
It depends if you believe what Romano is saying at face value. Do you believe that Spurs are looking to go again, improve the offer? There's the rumours are that we've had a €70 million bid rejected, and if we're still willing to go back to the negotiation table, then we are looking to pay a bit more than that.
Apparently, that was rumours that we had a €70 million bid rejected, but as well, the others, I've seen reports since then saying that those reports were wide of the mark, and it was much lower than that.
Who was saying that?
I can't remember, but I saw some reports saying that the reports of a €70 million bid was wide of the mark. It was a much lower fee than that.
I don't know. That's all I've heard about 70 million. And if we take that, look, we are looking to go more than that. But the reality is, like, when you're talking about the club are looking at it as they don't want to go higher than Kudus, or they think they shouldn't go higher than Kudus because of the market value and the likes of all the other signings that have gone this summer. I think that's not the way the club should be looking at it, because there were so many other kind of details in those deals that was the reason why they were lower. Eberechi Eze is obviously, his contract is getting shorter. He had a release clause for 68 million that Palace had in the contract for a while now. Mohamed Kudus, West Ham, had some sort of loan they needed to play back, and he had a release clause for 85 million. No one else was coming in. They just had to accept that bid that we put in if we weren't going to go higher. So I think there's so many different situations. Savinho's literally only been at Man City for 1 year, so he's got a long contract there, and they can command a bigger fee because they obviously are not desperate for money, and they don't need the money. So it all depends on the current situations on each specific deal. So
I don't disagree with you at all. I agree with you, but I don't know if the club will look at it like that. That's
I'm saying
why
the club should look at it like that, because every deal is different in its own situation.
But also you got to remember the players you're talking about are much more proven than Savinho.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to factor that in. Like, in terms, they've been doing it in the Premier League for a lot longer. Savinho's obviously been in the Premier League, and by and large, some would say he had his struggles. I would say he was quite impressive for a player of his age. But other people say he got one goal. That wasn't very good.
Kudus also had his struggles last season.
No, I don't. Again, I agree with you. But I'm just saying. I'm just trying to think how Levy's looking at this deal, and I think all of a sudden he's seeing these figures pushed to potentially over 70 million for a player of who's only played 1 year in the Premier League and all these kind of things. And is he willing to go to what City are going to demand to let him go, or did he approach this deal thinking, City's agents, Savinho's agents have come to us because he wants regular game time. If he wants out, City are usually willing to let players go at that kind of stage, right? And is Levy looking at that situation and think, okay, his fair market value is around 55 million or 60 million. We're going to go in and try and get him at that figure, because we feel like that'll be a good price, or that'll be a good deal. Now, if City are coming back and saying, look, we don't really want to sell him, but if you want to give us 70 million, then we'll consider it. Are Tottenham then going to push the boat out and go that high? I'm starting to be sceptical whether they actually will. But maybe what we've seen recently as well, with Pep saying he's injured, and there's been a bit of a back and forth with Savinho posting a selfie and all that kind of stuff. Will that make City a bit more? So will that soften City's stance? Will City start to get a bit angry with Savinho, and then all of a sudden be more willing to just lower their price and get rid? Maybe that can come into play. But I'm just skeptical. My only point is, if City are hardline about a really high fee like 70 million, I'm just a bit sceptical whether Tottenham are as serious as I hope they would be about pushing the boat out and getting him over the line. I'm starting to get worried about that, to be honest. Yeah. I think they want to do a deal at a fair market value. I don't know if they want to pay, or if they want to overpay for him. And I think they need to.
Obviously, Tottenham are never going to want to overpay for someone. But again, I just think we're in a bit of a desperate situation. We need players in this front line through the door to go and have a good season. Like, it's all well and good beating Burnley 3-0 and, good performance, but as the season progresses, we can't rely on this front three.
I agree with you.
I know you agree with me. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to the people out there.
Okay, yeah.
We can't rely on this front three to take us into the season and consistently score the goals like we did. I know our front three did brilliantly yesterday. Kudus 2 assists, Richarlison 2 goals, and Brennan Johnson got a goal as well. But it's not something that we can rely on. You're looking at Eze, Crystal Palace and Man City. They've both been sounding out options for replacements. Obviously, Romano again talking about Rodrigo to Manchester City. And obviously, Crystal Palace talking about Bilal El Khanous. And there was another name as well added into the mix as well of Crystal Palace today. I can't remember who it was. But when these things start to happen and they start to sound out replacements, as well as the Savinho injury thing, the Palace Eze thing, not him starting today is kind of not on the same line to that. But it does still feel to me that both these deals are on, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that as well. I think both of them were definitely going hard for both of them. And I don't think it's a coincidence Savinho is quote-unquote injured. Pep just definitely seemed like he was lying on Friday when he was asked about it. He didn't seem like he was telling the truth. He seems like a very bad liar, to be honest. All the City fans I saw commenting on that saying he's just the worst liar. Like, it's so obviously he's lying. So I think clearly something's going on there. Like, I don't think... I don't think that this whole situation comes about if there's not some serious negotiations happening, and I think there's still a decent chance both happen. But I'm still, as a Tottenham fan, I also think there's a decent chance neither of them happen.
And no one blames you for having that thought, because we've been here, we've seen it all, we've got the T-shirt, everything. On every transfer deal that we've been through. There's always so many ups and downs with Spurs transfer talk. When we're looking to bring in a significant player, it's never just plain sailing. It always has to be up and down and up and down and up and down. But look, it's got to come to some sort of conclusion and some sort of resolution very soon, because we're sitting here 17th of August and the transfer window shuts pretty soon, like 2 weeks to go. So, yeah. If I was to hazard a guess or a prediction if these deals are going to happen, I'm going to say they do happen. As much as I feel like an idiot saying that, because I've just been through the mill with Tottenham year after year after year, and we've bungled deal after deal after deal. I don't know. There just seems something different about these, and I think it's just a bit of, posturing from Manchester City. I think they will sanction the sale when it comes to it, and when they get that replacement. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I think Eze will get done. I think to him starting today, I don't think it changes too much. I just think there's something going on with the payment terms, all that kind of stuff, and Palace are basically being hardline, saying you need to pay X amount up front, otherwise you're not going to get him. And I think Tottenham will either end up doing it or there'll be some sort of compromise. So I'm pretty certain about Eze. Savinho, I don't know what to think about the Savinho deal. I think if that deal is going to get done, there's going to have to be some compromise from City. I think if they're sticking to that price, I'm just sceptical whether Tottenham are actually going to go there. Even though I want them to, I'm sceptical whether they will. So I think there'll have to be some compromise from City. And look, they might be, because it seems as though Savinho's pushing for it himself. Yeah. And if he's doing that, then I think City don't like to keep unhappy players, and they don't like to keep players who don't want to be there. So I think if Savinho keeps pushing like he is, I think there will be some compromise. So if there is, I think that deal will get done. But if there isn't, I'm sceptical about that one.
With Savinho as well, there was a report from The Sun earlier, wasn't there, saying that if he plays 100 games or something, his wage doubles from 40 to 80. And obviously Spurs are willing to give him something of that ilk straight away. And he's kind of doesn't know if he's going to get to that number of games this season, so he wants obviously a pay rise. It wouldn't be on all realms of possibility if Man City just go in with a new contract offer and just put him on that money straight away. You know what I mean?
And that would be that'll be player 50,004 who have used Tottenham to get a new contract.
Yeah.
So it's not not first time we've seen that. I also think if there's truth to that, in terms of that's a motivation for him to come into Tottenham just to get a bit more money, then I mean that wouldn't make me as excited as if he wanted more playing time for footballing. I want him to come for footballing reasons rather than he sees an easy route to get to double his money after only being at Man City for a year, because that would kind of tell me the first chance to make more money somewhere else he'll move, and that's not the kind of character you'd want. So I really hope the motivation to come to Tottenham isn't about just doubling, an easy way to double your wages, and I really hope it's about having more playing time and trying to get into our World Cup squad. That's what I hope.
Look, the more and more we hear about City going for other targets, if they are serious about Rodrigo and we hear kind of dominoes fall in that situation, I'll start to become even more confident about Savinho. Once we hear more about Palace getting in targets as well, like Palace don't want to.
We have heard about it, to be honest.
No, I mean like more advanced, because all we're hearing is bids rejected for El Kanous.
I know we heard about this guy from Club Brugge now. Is
that the other name that I was thinking of? So I mean, has a deal been accepted? Are they further down the line, or is it just interest at this point? Because I'm talking about deals being like maybe further down the line. So I feel like City are not. Crystal Palace are not going to sell themselves short, right?
They've approached Bruges over Christos Tzolis.
He's a good player, by the way.
To replace Eze.
Yeah, so I don't think...
A bid rejected.
I think you're going to hear a lot more in the week. They're not going to want to sell Eze without a replacement in. Same with Man City and Savinho.
I think that's also a part of this as well. It helps Palace in their negotiations if Eze plays today. So they don't get strong-armed by... selling clubs when they're buying.
Yeah, but even though the selling club will know, like you're only going for this player because you need a number 10 and he's leaving.
Yeah, but still, the fact that if Eze is being left out or refusing to play, that puts Palace in a tougher situation. Then
it makes them more desperate. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I think that's probably as well why Eze if it's the deal's not done, I think Eze wants to help out the team as much as possible. Yeah,
absolutely. But look, that is where we're at this moment in time. Obviously, this is not the last that we're going to hear of it, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more updates regarding Eze and Savinho. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you feel the Eze and Savinho deal will get over the line? If it's only one that you think is going to get over the line, let us know which one you think in the comment section below. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Let's get
until the next update.
Yeah, let's get into more happy things, and a 3-0 win in the Premier League opener yesterday. Good performance from Tottenham Hotspur. We're going to start off with player ratings, and we're going to start off with Big Vicario. 6s all round for Vic. I mean, he did make some saves throughout the game. I think it was like 4 or 5 saves on the stats, but I think they were mainly just like kind of routine saves, weren't they? Didn't really make him work. And handled everything pretty well. I think there was one kind of kick that he just went out of play, but apart from that, I think he did well.
Yeah, I think in terms of the saves, the one that stands out was the one from Jadon Anthony in the second half, which at 1-0, if that goes in, could be a very different game. Burnley was starting to create a few more chances at that point, so that was a crucial save. But I don't really remember any saves which he didn't. I think he hung on to every save, like he didn't push any away or anything. They didn't really have any clear-cut chances, to be honest. So I think it was a fairly simple day for Vicario,
and that's a credit as well to Thomas Frank and the defence and the setup that we've got, because I feel like every game so far, when we're talking about the goalkeeper and player range, we're pretty much saying the same things. Like, hardly tested.
Yeah, true.
Next up is Pedro Porro. 7s all round for Pedro. Good performance. I think defensively sound. I think you could see sort of a really nice link-up starting to build with him and Mohamed Kudus, and I'm really excited to see the pair of them really flourish going forward. And yeah, I think his ball, he made one really nice cross on the day as well. I think he was spamming a few crosses in, not to maybe the quality which we know that Pedro has, but there was one really nice one in there, and he's going to get better and better throughout the season. Yeah,
look, I don't think it was his best display, but I thought he was still pretty good by and large. I think he defensively he dealt with everything that came his way. He was pretty sound down that right-hand side. On the ball, got into some really good positions. Always, what I like about him, although it didn't come off every time, he's getting his crosses in so much earlier, and he's getting so much more of them in, and that's just going to stand us in good stead throughout the season, in my opinion. Once the players start adjusting to that in the box, making more runs, getting more players in there whenever he gets the ball, you're going to see those early crosses being paid dividends. What I love about Porro is, first of all, he's our best player in build-up. We know that, especially right now while we don't have...
By far.
Well, especially right now while we don't have those creative players. We rely so heavily on Porro to build up and get and progress the ball. It's like as if we don't go through him, we struggle so much. But what I love these really early passes into the striker he does. And the strikers, Richarlison and Solanke, we saw when he came on, they're really starting to read those early passes, and he always puts it on a sixpence as well every time. And because we've got such strong strikers, they can hold the ball up, and it causes the opposition problems. So those early passes are fantastic, and he was doing it time after time. And that's something that's almost unstoppable sometimes when he's in space, especially when the opposition come out a bit, and especially once it went to like 2-0 to Spurs, he was really using that to good effect.
Next up is Cuti Romero. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. His first start, competitive start as Tottenham captain, and it wasn't a memorable one, to be honest. I think in the first half, uncharacteristic bad ball playing out the back. There was a number of times he got caught out as well, and he had to be bailed out by Mickey van de Ven and some other players as well. But I would say that I felt that he was growing throughout the game. He was getting better as the game wore on, but it was just, it was a poor performance, to be honest.
Yeah, I think second half was much better. I agree with you. First half, though, I would say 1 sloppy pass, okay, that happens. 2 sloppy passes, okay, a bit of a red flag. 3 sloppy passes, you're getting marked down for that like quite a lot, because you can't be doing 3 sloppy passes in a half.
Especially when we know the quality that he has from that aspect.
And in bad positions. I think of the sloppy passes were a symptom of the team as well. It wasn't just his fault. I think there was a bit of lack of movement. No one showing for the ball as much as they should. So I think I don't think he was the only one to blame for his own sloppy passes in a weird way. But at the end of the day, he chooses to pass in that direction. I remember there was one pass, I was like, where's he even passing to? I don't even know who was looking to receive the ball, and it was just straight to a Burnley player. It was really, really poor. And actually, there was one moment as well, they played, I think he does a sloppy pass, and they play a straight through ball to Foster, and he looks like he's in on goal, and we needed... Actually, I think Romero, at one point, bailed himself out with it when he blocked a shot, although it was like from 25 yards. So he did make up for it a bit, but I don't know. You can't be doing that many sloppy passes in one half in dangerous positions. But as you say, second half definitely shored up, cut that out of his game, and I think it was his pass as well that led to Richarlison holding the ball up and led to the 3rd goal. So that was good, and we saw the real Romero in that second half.
Mickey van de Ven 8s all round, and I felt like he was the player that really kind of glued that defence together and made us... He was imperious on the day. Much better performance than Cuti Romero. Like I mentioned, was able to bail out Romero. Some really last-ditch challenges in there from Mickey. And one marauding run forward, which I thought he was going to go all the way at one point, but it wasn't to be. And just a really strong defensive display from Mickey, and it was great to see.
Yeah, I think he was our best defender probably on the day. He is that safety blanket which we absolutely love to have, especially when there are just some times where if you probably do a freeze frame, you think, okay, we're in trouble here, and then you just play the clip along and bam, it's just Van de Ven comes out of nowhere and the worry's gone. So that's what he offers, and I thought he did that a few times yesterday brilliantly. I thought he was so strong on the ball as well. Good passing. He wasn't sloppy on the ball. Good progressive passer as well. I thought it was a really good display from Mickey yesterday.
Next up is Jed Spence. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. I thought it was a top performance from Jed yesterday. Defensively sound. I don't think much got past him throughout the day. And I think he was able to get up and down the pitch and provide for us from an attacking perspective as well. There was one moment where he burned someone in the box, or he just sat him down with a nice little turn, and he went for the shot where he probably should have slipped in Mohamed Kudus. And that was probably going to be 4-0. But he didn't. But I think, that was the only thing. I think apart from that, I thought he was brilliant all round, and it was unbelievable for him to get into that position as well. So really good display from Jed.
Yeah, really positive, good attacking play as well. I think he had also got to the byline once and cut it back for Rishi, and that led to that moment where he had a shot blocked and then received the ball back again and drew past the defender and had a really good chance. So that was really good from Jed. Obviously, I think mostly in the second half, he had a couple of moments going forward. I'd say that had that shot blocked. First half, it seemed as though when we got the ball to him, we were just struggling to get the ball forward and progress. It seemed as though we would get the ball to Jed. He would look up and then think, I can't really go anywhere. Then he would go back to Van de Ven and he would go, then would go over to Porro, and then we were able to get the ball forward. So we need to work on how to progress the ball when we're down the left-hand side, when we're down with Jed. I think a lot of it's to do with Brendan as well. I don't think Brendan was helping him enough. So I think that's obviously, he has a part to play in that. But I think overall, obviously, we know defensively, fantastic. Didn't get beaten once, I don't think. And offensively, provided a threat.
Archie Gray up next. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7, but actually on reflection, I think 6 is definitely more fair for Archie. I thought in the first half, he was probably the weak link in our midfield. Second half, I think he kind of did grow in the game a bit more. He was making himself known. He was spraying the ball about a little bit, just these nice little touches to get us further up the pitch. And I think as the game was wearing on, he was coming more and more into the game. Obviously got taken off with about 20 minutes to go for Rodrigo Bentancur. I wasn't that impressed with him in the first half, but as it came into the second half, he was getting better and better. And I think he kind of got taken off in probably his best moment, to be honest. Yeah,
I agree. I think he grew into the game quite well. I think in the first half, he was kind of letting the game pass him by like he has done maybe in previous games. And I think there was that moment, obviously, in that first half where Burnley was starting to kind of dominate a bit and get into our half, and I think Gray was kind of just letting it happen, wasn't really doing enough to stop it. But I think as the second half came, I think he grew into it. We started to dominate quite well in the middle, and he was really contributing to that. Still, I feel playing it a bit too safe, but if he's playing in the number 6 position, that might be an instruction. So I think he did all right once the game ended.
Pap Mate Sarr, Pape Toure, whatever you want to say. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 9. I thought he was brilliant. I thought first half, obviously had his hand in the goal that we scored, winning the ball aggressively high up the pitch, getting it to Kudus, and obviously Kudus played it into Richarlison. I thought he was just everywhere, to be honest. His pressing was absolutely phenomenal. I thought there was a few sloppy moments in the first half, but as it came into the second half, obviously a lovely ball round the back through the line to Brennan Johnson. There was another one as well where he should have passed a bit quicker. If he passes quicker to Matisse Tell is pretty much in the same position as Brennan, and he has a chance to score, so that was a bit disappointing. But he was just everywhere. And again, like we mentioned for some other players, as the game wore on, he was just growing and growing in influence. And this guy just seems like a new player from pre-season, now the start of the season, as to what we saw last season.
Yeah, fantastic. I think when Sarr's in full flight, he's such a difficult player to deal with. I don't think many midfielders in the Premier League can match his ability to just continuously run. His stamina is incredible. He covers so much ground. And I thought yesterday, another really fantastic performance from Pape Mate Sarr. And I think the anticipation, what I loved about that assist he got is that anticipation here of where Richarlison's going to play the ball, and very quick thinking, just one touch, look up, sees Brendan running and goal, and a brilliant through ball to Brendan for that third goal. So I thought it was a fantastic assist from Pape Mate Sarr. Great execution, and I think throughout the game he helped us really dominate in the midfield, especially in the second half. And he's had such a strong start to life under Frank.
Yeah, he really has. Lucas Bergvall, 7s all round for Lucas. I felt like, it took him a while to get into the game, but once he did, you really saw him grow in influence towards the last 15, 20 minutes of that first half. He was being really hard to handle. He was wriggling away from players. He was driving forward. His passing now was on show as well, and I felt like he ended up the game with a really good performance behind him. And I'd like to see him drive a bit more and become a bit more of a goal threat, but the way he can just control that middle of the park and just create space for himself is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I just read an interview from him, and I think it was quite telling. I think what is pretty much what we saw is in that first half he was playing up against that back five and was kind of struggling to find space. Wasn't really getting on the ball that much. And he said he felt like only when he came a bit deeper and was able to pick up the ball and drive towards the defenders, that's when he started to get some joy. And that's what I remember seeing in the game, when there were moments he would come a bit deep, get the ball off around the halfway line and then just spin his man and then drive at the back line, and all of a sudden the space would open up and there would be chances there. That's where we saw Bergvall at his best. So that, I think, there are definitely things he has to learn when he's playing in that number 10 position to find space and pick up moments, because he was definitely struggling there. But I think as the game wore on and he was finding ways to find space, whether it be coming deeper or what, he was really growing an influence in the game. And there were moments as well, pulling wider, getting some good crosses in the box as well. We know he's got great delivery. So, good performance in the end.
Yeah. I just don't think he's a number 10. I just think he's so much better in the 8. And I think that's been shown. But Brennan Johnson up next. 7s all round for Brennan. Look, let's be real. In the first half, it was completely anonymous. I don't think we saw pretty much one thing from him, to be honest. But in the second half, he definitely showed a bit more. He was willing to go at his fullback, and obviously the goal, him running in behind, something that not many of our other attacking players have the quality to do so. Getting in behind his man, that touch to get away from the defender, and that finish was absolutely sublime. And there are a couple of other nice moments in there where he did a few runs down the left-hand side. So, look, I don't think he's a left winger. I prefer to see him on the right, but it was better in the second half than it was in the first, that's for sure.
Yeah, fair play to Brennan, because I thought that first half we were kind of criticising him a lot for being a bit anonymous. He was being a bit of a touchline winger, which maybe was instruction, but when he was hugging the touchline, there was a few moments he went down the line, crossing it with his left foot, and it just went nowhere. It was going out of play, and it's like, if that's what you're going to be doing, I don't see the point of him playing in that position. But obviously, he got his moment in the second half, and that's what he's so dangerous at, that little bit of transition, getting in behind. It just needed one moment, one touch, and bam, he finishes it. He's clinical in those positions. We know he is, so credit to him. And I think that gave him a bit of confidence as well, getting that goal. All of a sudden, he was picking up the ball and started driving at the defenders a bit, and actually started looking a lot more confident and asking different questions. So that was quite encouraging. Ended up being a decent performance from him. But I thought for the first, pretty much before he scored, it was a very frustrating watch. And it wasn't just his lack of ability on the ball, but I felt like as well wasn't really helping Jed when in progression on that side as well. We were really struggling to get the ball forward on that side. Wasn't really showing for it. And I think he's got a lot to develop if he's going to be a serious option on that left wing.
Let's move on to Mohamed Kudus on his Tottenham Hotspur debut in the Premier League. 9s all round for Mo. And as debuts go, it was brilliant, to be honest. It really was. It felt like it wasn't his debut. I know we've seen him in pre-season in the Super Cup, but he just fitted in, slotted straight in. 2 assists on the day, of quality as well. The first one, nice little pass into Richarlison. The second one was an absolutely sublime cross. And look, Richarlison had a lot to do with the cross, but I thought he put it right on the money for him. And it wasn't just the assist that he did on the day that was so impressive for me. The way he's just so hard to handle. He's so aggressive, so strong, so athletic. The Burnley defence didn't really know how to handle him. He's a box of tricks. One moment he was showboating as well. He brought out his inner Neymar. And he works so hard for the team. Like in the first half, the defensive contribution that he was doing down that right-hand side was absolutely sublime. And I can't really fault Mohamed Kudus's contributions to the game yesterday. The only one thing that I haven't seen from him so far in the Spurs show with pre-season, Super Cup, and now the first game in the Premier League is that he hasn't been too much of a goal-scoring threat as of yet. And I'm sure that will come at some point. But in terms of what he gives us, drive, dribbling ability, physicality, defensive work rate as well, I'm so happy with Mohamed Kudus.
Yeah, what a debut, or home debut anyway. I was so happy with him. And I think he showed exactly what having someone like him... sorry. I think he showed exactly what having someone like him in a low block, when you're playing against a low block, what it can do for you, having a dribbler like that, where you're having someone who you can get the ball, take people on, and when you're up against a low block, I thought last season we just didn't have that kind of profile of a player who could get the ball and facing 2 or 3 men and just come out on top consistently and just do a trick, go past your fullback and get a cross in. And I thought last season when we were playing as a low block, you had Brennan on the right or Son on the left, and every time they would face up their man and just pass it backwards. They wouldn't even attempt it because they just didn't have the confidence or the quality to be regularly beating their man. Whereas Kudus is chasing lost causes. He's winning passes you don't expect or he has no right to win. Like for the first goal, a couple of times he had no right to win the ball. He wins it on both occasions, gets the ball into the box, and we get a goal from it. And that is just something that we haven't had. And I thought yesterday showed how valuable that kind of asset can be in these kind of games, because you can have someone who can create something out of absolutely nothing, where you're struggling, it looks like there's a wall in front, a bus in front of you, and he could just create something where you didn't even know there was something to be created, and that's what he offers. And I think that was exactly, basically in the first game, he showed what he's going to bring and how valuable he's going to be. So really, really great. 2 really good assists on his right foot as well. One on the outside. He's a player who's known for being left-footed, and I thought the fact that it was 2 assists where he went on the outside and put it in with his right foot. I think when teams are analysing Tottenham and analysing Kudus, they're going to see that and they're going to think, okay, you can't just let him on his right because he just got 2 assists on his debut doing that. So you're going to have to try and stop that as well. So it keeps that unpredictability there, and it keeps defenders guessing, which is really, really great. And it was two really good crosses and 2 really good assists. And yeah, I want him being more of a goal threat, but I think it's a really good first game. And I think, yeah, as I say, just immediately showing what he's going to bring.
Yeah, such an exciting player to watch as well. I mean, he's a proper Tottenham player, and it's someone that we haven't had in so long on the wings.
Yeah.
And there was one moment where he gets it on the right-hand side of the box. He fakes to go one way and goes the other way, completely takes it round the player and gets across in the box. I mean, we haven't had someone that just do those simple things. And it's not simple, it's not easy to do, but we haven't had someone that can do that for so long.
Yeah.
And it's such a breath of fresh air. So I'm loving Mohamed Kudus. And what makes it even better is West Ham losing 3-0 yesterday, after everything that they said about him as well, saying, he's not going to make a difference to you, he's not a great player, he's lazy, he's this, he's that. 2 assists on his debut, which probably equals his West Ham assist for last season, and West Ham sitting near the bottom of the league with a 3-0 loss to newly promoted Sunderland.
They don't care about that. They got Kudus' snake banners. They won yesterday, didn't they? It doesn't matter. They lost 3-0. They got the Kudus snake banners, so they're loving life.
All right, and the final player of the starting 11. We've saved the best till last, people. It is El Pombo, Richarlison, Mr. Prue. 10s all round for Richarlison. Probably the first 10 we've ever given Richarlison. For me,
first 10 of the season, first day.
First game, first 10. And for me, that was the most complete performance I've ever seen Richarlison put in. Unbelievable. When you're talking about link-up play, hold-up play, everything to do with his performance, I think, was a perfect number 9 performance. Finishing ability, the way he was bringing others into play, his passing was sublime. The way that we can just knock it into him and he was making it stick every time, taking it past players as well. Oh my God, everything he did was perfect. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And you look back at the PSG game and we're thinking, wow, this is one of Richarlison's best display. And he got even better in this game against Burnley. And the Burnley players just didn't know how to deal with him. They were getting close to him. He was spinning them and he was taking it round them. If they would sit off him, he would spray a lovely pass out wide. Unbelievable. The first goal, unbelievable finish where he takes it on the half volley and slots it in the far corner. And the second goal, what more is there to say about that? One of the best goals that we've seen, reminiscent of that World Cup goal for Brazil. Scissor kick into the top corner. That is just a sensational finish. And this guy, if we keep him fit and he stays in this kind of form, the number 9 issues are gone.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever looked as fresh and healthy as he has right now. And I think following on from what was a fantastic performance against PSG, really causing them lots of trouble, and physically, he was dominating that. And I was thinking, wow, he's doing so well, but, is it because these PSG defenders are tired? And then coming up against Burnley, he's doing exactly the same stuff in terms of his his ability to hold the ball up. And what I love about that is not only is he holding the ball up, he's keeping the ball, he's then bringing other players into play. He's making quick decisions as well. One criticism I have of Solanke when he holds the ball up is he holds it up, but he does spend a bit too much time for me just like shielding the ball, where there's a little quick pass he can give off. He can just hold the ball up and lay it off quickly, and all of a sudden we can go. Where I feel like Solanke just holds it too much. What I liked about Richarlison yesterday is he doesn't just hold the ball up just to hold it up sake. He holds it up with a view of quickly getting it to a teammate so he can progress the ball up the pitch very quickly and start our attacks. And I thought he was doing a phenomenal job doing that. He also won a few duels where you're thinking he's probably not favourite for this one, and all of a sudden he's come bursting in there and he's winning the ball, he's winning a free kick, or he's keeping possession for Tottenham where it looked like he wasn't going to. Look at the third goal. I mean, I don't know how he keeps the ball there. He gets passed into by Romero. He kind of flicks it over Esteve.
Yeah.
He then gets back in front of Esteve, lays it quickly off to Sarr, and then Sarr obviously plays it quickly to Johnson. I'm like, how the hell did Richie just do that? That element of the goal has, I think, gone under the radar, and how impressive that was from Richie to keep it away from the Burnley defender. And I think that's what I mean about holding up but then quickly laying off to Sarr, because I feel like if that was Solanke, he would have held it up off Esteve, but he wouldn't have played up to Sarr as quickly as Richarlison did, and that one maybe we wouldn't have got that goal if it was him. So I think that was fantastic. And then we talk about his goals. What I think the finishes were fantastic. They've been talked about. I want to talk about the movement though, because you've got to remember he's playing against a back five. He's playing against three centre backs.
Yeah.
It should be extremely difficult. The reason you play a back five and three centre backs is basically saying you're not going to get any free space in that box. Anytime you're in the box, you're going to be challenged. You're not going to get any free headers or whatever. So the fact that he was able to that movement, if you watch his movement, you saw that the whole Burnley defensive line dropped really deep, like in line with like the 6-yard box. He was like, okay, if you're going to drop that deep, I'm just going to peel off around the penalty area, and once Kudus picks me out, bam, I'm just going to quickly first time finish. He's got that finishing ability. We've seen it. I think if I remember rightly, when he went through that period under Ange, I think it was like from like November to January or whatever it was, he scored like 9 goals in 11. If I remember rightly, I think one of the stat was like 8 of them were first time finishes. And like were all, if I remember rightly, and like they were all very much like quick finishes. So he's got that in his locker, and he showed that yesterday. But the movement to get free and make sure he was in position to finish those moves were absolutely fantastic. And then, yeah, the first one was really impressive, but the second one, wow, what an unbelievable world-class finish. And he's got that in his locker. And I do think when I saw Everton, he does have something special about him, but I feel like he needs to be at his physical peak to show that all the time, because he's one of those players where he's a shithouse. He gets in people's faces. He's an absolute nuisance. But when physically he's not there and he's not as confident, he's just not the same player. We need to keep him in this stage where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, look, the last couple of years, he's scored goals for us, and in terms of goals per minutes and goals to games ratio is extremely impressive from Richarlison, but there has been a lot of moments where we've got so frustrated with Richarlison with his finishing, how he misses kind of easy chances sometimes, or his first touch has been absolutely atrocious at times. Well, yesterday his first touch was absolutely perfect, and I've never seen Richarlison's first touch be as good as it was yesterday. That was just something incredible.
Yeah, I feel like Richarlison is one of those finishers where if he doesn't have time to think about it and it's instinctive, then he's a really good. But if you like put him through 1-on-1 and he's got like 10 seconds, like, oh, do I round the keeper? Do I dink it? These kind of things, then he'll probably mess it up. But there was also one really impressive moment as well yesterday where he had a shot which was blocked. He came back to him and he had the composure in a really short, tight space to just take the touch around the defender and create space for himself for another shot. And unfortunately, I think it just nicked the stud or the boot off Dubravka and it didn't go in, but that also would have been a really impressive finish if he would have got that off as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, top performance from Richarlison, 100% his best performance in the Spurs shirt. That's just for certain.
Didn't do anything wrong, did he? No, literally everything was fantastic.
It was a perfect display. And last but not least, we're not going to go through the subs because they all came on at 3-0 and the game was pretty much done. But Thomas Frank, Sim gives him a 9. I gave him an 8. Yeah, I thought the first half, obviously we started the game really well. We started the game really aggressive, pressing high up the pitch. We got the goal and we go 1-0 up. And then for the rest of the half, I thought we were poor, to be honest. I thought Burnley definitely had the better of the half. We were retreating back, and Burnley looked like the better side. But then a few tactical tweaks from Frank in the second half definitely swung the momentum back in our favour. Maybe it was a half-time team talk as well. And then the second half, it got a lot better. And yeah, there were moments where Burnley kind of worried us a little bit. But I thought for the most part, everything that he did was perfect. The timing of the subs, obviously we were 3-0 up by then. The subs definitely helped us just keep that clean sheet and hold off the game. And yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about Thomas Frank yesterday. I think it was all positive. But I think it's just clear that we need these signings through the door pretty soon.
Yeah, I think it was good management from him, to be honest. I think he rested players, he rotated, didn't over-rotate.
It's actually a massive risk, wasn't it, to play Bergvall, Sarr and Archie Gray in the middle.
And he, played Johnson on the left as well. And you're thinking, is that the right decision? But what I liked about his team selection is he rotated, he freshened things up, but he didn't over-rotate the team. He didn't change too much. He didn't make 8 or 9 changes. Just kept things ticking along, kept a bit of familiarity, but also freshened things up. So I did really like that. Yes, it was a bit stodgy in the first half, and it wasn't a great performance, but we did obviously get the goal. And the defensive solidity is what won us, because in the periods where we weren't at our best and we weren't playing so well, we still made sure that Burnley weren't getting too many chances and where they weren't really creating a high level amount of chances, which is really, really important, and maybe something we've definitely struggled with when we're in periods where we're not on top. Over the last few years, we tend to concede too many high quality chances, and we're not doing that at the moment, which is really good. And then once we got those moments where we were on top, we were clinical, we went for them, and we got those goals that we needed, and we ended up with a really solid win. I think the 3-0 makes it seem like probably a more comfortable win than it was, but in a weird way, it was a comfortable win anyway. Because we did, score the goals and we did create decent level chances, and we also didn't really concede too many high level chances apart from that one from Jadon Anthony. So in one sense, it was a really comfortable win, but in the other sense, we still had some struggles, from open play and stuff like that. There's still clearly a lot of stuff to work on. It wasn't like the perfect performance by any stretch, and there's a lot of stuff. But I think the fact that we can have an okay performance and end up with a 3-0 win already at this stage is impressive, and that's what I want to praise him for.
Yeah, look, much bigger test to come. Like you said, I think the 3-0 did flatter us a little bit, but the way we're so solid throughout pre-season and against PSG and yesterday, not conceding too many chances. Like I mentioned before about the goalkeeper, we seem to be saying the same thing about goalkeepers all the time. They're rarely tested, and that's testament to the way Frank's got us so defensively sound already. So look, I'm very excited to what's to come. Like I said, bigger test to come, but great opening for Thomas Frank and Tottenham Hotspur. So that is our player ratings. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding that, and put your ratings in the comment section below. What are we going to? We're going to
reacts, or are we going?
We're not doing match review.
Oh, well, we just went through the whole game. Okay.
All right, we'll go into takeaways. Let's go into the 5 takeaways and see what things we learnt from the game yesterday. And the first one is Richarlison scoring record. Come on.
Yeah, and it's actually remarkable. In his last 19 starts for Tottenham, he has scored 16 goals.
Oh, that's mad.
Which is crazy. I think that does span probably a couple of seasons. I don't know how many.
Is that only the 19 starts, or is that
in his last 19 starts?
Including the sub appearances?
I think. Why did I read it? I think it's his last 19. Let me see it. Is it his last 19 starts or appearances? I'm pretty sure it's starts. I liked it. One sec. I saw this stat. No, last 16 starts, he's got 13 goals. That's it. And he's got 9 goals in his last 9 starts at home. So he's got an unbelievable kind of scoring record at the moment when he's on the pitch. And unfortunately, the big problem's obviously been getting him on the pitch. But that is really great numbers. And, you put that over a whole season, you got a 25 goals a season striker there if you can get him on the pitch enough.
Yeah.
So, 2 goals yesterday after a really pretty solid pre-season as well. Well, a good performance against PSG. You know, and it obviously begs the question about Richarlison. There was a lot of talk about him leaving, but maybe his 2 goals, does that put it to bed? Actually, one thing I wanted to bring up about Richarlison was what Frank was saying, which was quite interesting in his press conference, because he was talking about his injury record, and he said, as much as you know, we know about his injury record, we're being very careful about him, but there was one little quote he said which kind of concerned me about him. He said, he's fit now and he scored 2 goals, but he's not out of the woods yet, he said, with his injury stuff. So that was a bit concerning when he said we still got to be very careful, and, you know, we got to know, I got to like figure him out, and I got to get to know him and his body and stuff like that. So, but he said we're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not something that surprises me. We know about the ability of Richarlison to put the ball in the back of the net. The only reason I kind of would like to move him on is because of his availability, and his injury record over the last 2 years has been nothing short of dreadful, to be honest. So it's not going to just take for Frank to come in and a pre-season behind him to get him out of the woods. We've seen it before where he has a pre-season and then breaks down straight when the season starts. We've seen him come back from injury, break down in just making a cross and an assist, and he goes off and you don't see him for the next 2-3 months. So it doesn't surprise me that he's not out of the woods yet. It concerns me massively to keep Richarlison because of that injury record. So, I don't know, like, judging on his performances over the last 2 games, if you ask me whether I want to keep him or sell him, obviously I'm going to say keep, because the quality of the performances have been absolutely brilliant. But then we could be eating our words again if, you know, in a few weeks' time he gets injured. So, it's a difficult one with Richarlison because I really like him. I've always been a big fan of Richarlison, but it's just the injury records which kind of just put a real grey cloud over it, and he's never been able to stay consistently fit. He has been a bit of a frustrating player at times when he has been on the pitch, but these last 2 performances have pretty much been his best 2 performances in a Spurs shirt, and Thomas Frank has done such a good job to get these kind of level of performances out of him. But even before Thomas Frank, his goal scoring record has been brilliant. So yeah, it is a difficult one. If you ask me right now, would I prefer to keep him or sell him, I would say keep him, just because of these 2 performances and on top of that the scoring record. But it is something that we need to keep an eye on, and that's his injury record. And if he gets injured in the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of frustrated fans saying, why didn't we bring in a number 9?
Yeah, and it's an easy thing to throw at the club, saying you could have seen this coming and that kind of stuff. But yeah, as you say, but as I said, 13 goals in his last 16 starts, really impressive.
Yeah. Next up, we are going to be talking about Sasa Toure, the man that keeps going by strength to strength. Unbelievable performance.
Yeah, and yesterday his performance by numbers was really incredible. Covered 10.7 kilometers yesterday, had with a top speed of 29.2 kilometers per hour, which we now get this data on SofaScore. So brilliant stuff. They now have the sprint data. But more impressively, won 4 of his 5 ground duels, aerial duels, 6 out of 10 ground duels. Completed 3 of his 4 dribbles, 2 tackles as well. Obviously got that brilliant assist for Brennan Johnson for his goal as well. Obviously, it was a proper all-action display from Pape Matar yesterday.
In the first half of the season under Ange, in his first season, when Sarr was just in full flight, and we were like thinking, wow, we have got one of the best young midfielders in the league. You know, this guy is going to go to the very, very top. That's what we were all saying, right? So when he came back from the AFCON, a bit of a step backwards. Last season, a bit of a step backwards. But now he seems to be performing better than ever. This guy is just everywhere. His pressing is incredible. Not only that, but he's a goal threat as well, from assists, taking shots as well. The guy is immense, and I can't wax lyrical enough about him. You can't take him out of the team, the way he's playing at this moment in time. And when Frank first came in, and we were all hypothesizing and all thinking about what kind of players that we want in that middle 3, no one mentioned Pape Matar. Everyone was saying different kind of players. We need new players to come in. But Pape, with the way he's playing, you just cannot take him out of the team. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from him at the moment. And I think he's playing his best football of his career at this moment in time. So, yeah, defensive contributions, attacking contributions, unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Next up is Creative Kudus. Not a bad debut from Mo.
Yeah, and obviously he got his 2 assists yesterday. He actually had 5 chances created yesterday in the game, which is obviously more than anyone else on the pitch. Also completed 2 of his 3 dribbles attempted, 5 out of 10 accurate crosses. So his crossing was actually, I know it's 50%, but it was actually that's not a terrible ratio when you got 10 crosses in, to have 50% success rate. 3 of his 4 accurate long passes as well. But obviously, more importantly, he got those 2 assists, and I thought he was a real creative force. And I think that creativity from him yesterday was really, really crucial because we didn't really seem like we were going to break down what you call Burnley. And if you remember as well, right in the first minute, he set up that chance for Bergvall with a little pass, and it looked as though if there was any chance we were going to break Burnley down, especially without those number 10s on the pitch. It was going to be from Mohamed Kudus, and he got those 2 assists, and all our creativity pretty much came from him yesterday.
Yeah, and look, it wasn't just that, it was his defensive contribution as well, which, that hasn't been really talked about before he came to Spurs. Such a hard worker. In the first half, when Burnley were on top, he was doing such a good job to relieve us of pressure at times. But his creative standpoint on the right-hand side is just something that we've been missing so long on that right. So that he can take it past the player with ease. He can get crosses in the box. I want to see him be more of a goal threat, which I'm sure that will come over time. But I'm so happy with Mo Kudus and the contributions that he made in the game yesterday. So big up to Mo. And we move on to number 4, and that is second half push.
Yeah, and yesterday, obviously, the first half wasn't like the best when it came to what we were breaking Burnley down and that kind of stuff. And I think looking at some of the data, I was looking at what changed in the second half and from the first half, because on the face of it, we were running similar amounts, making similar amount of tackles, but we went. I think the most important thing is in the first half we won a lot more bigger percentage of tackles in the second half than we did in the first half. We won 80% of our tackles in the second half, where in the first half it was 60%. And also we were doing a lot more dribbles. So the first half we only attempted 4 dribbles and we completed 2 of them. In the second half we attempted 10 dribbles and completed 9 of them as well. So clearly trying to force the issue a bit, trying to maybe a bit more risk into the game. And we saw that near the beginning of the second half as well, where we opened up a bit, Burnley nearly got back into the game, but then that led to us getting the second goal and then the third goal, and we ended up winning the game more comfortably. So the second half, there was some little kind of differences. I wouldn't say massive tactical tweaks, but it was more just differences in being more aggressive, being braver, and that's what got us the win.
Yeah, and I felt like we were just able to bring Brennan Johnson into the game a bit more. Obviously, he got the goal, but he was also a bit of a threat out on that left-hand side. Those kind of numbers are going to go up dramatically if we can bring in the likes of a Savinho or an Eze, particularly from the dribbling aspect. And you could see if you watched the game, we were a lot more threatening, a lot more dangerous in that second half. We need to find out ways how not to, conduct ourselves like we did for probably the half an hour in the first half, like we did. Gave Burnley a bit too much encouragement. But the instruction from Frank was clearly go get them early, get an early goal, because that's going to stand us in good stead for the game. We did, but then we kind of reverted, and I think in the second half we started aggressive. Again, Burnley had probably their best chance of the game in the second half, but the way we were able to break them down a bit more, be more creative, be more aggressive, was great to see. And from a first kind of sighting of Frank Ball in the Premier League, it's a joy to behold, to be honest. 3-0 win, you can't really complain. Fifth and final takeaway is restricting Burnley.
Yeah, and on the face of it, you look at the stats overall, and you would think Burnley had, a lot of shots and, a lot of chances, a lot of the game, because we had 16 shots. Burnley actually had 14 shots on the day, 4 of them being on target. And so you're on the face of it, you're thinking, okay, Burnley had a lot of this game and they had a lot of chances, but when you look at the expected goals, it was only 0.94. So their expected goals per shot was actually really low, and that's because we really did restrict them from any high quality chances. On the stats, there's 0 big chances created on the day. So if you're, on the face of it, you would think Burnley actually had quite a few opportunities, but actually we restricted them really, really impressively, and all their shots are really low quality opportunities. The only one they had was that Anthony one, and when you look at that one, if you look at the highlights, like it's quite a bit of luck that it fell to him. Like Foster had a shot that miscued and it fell to him, and that had an opportunity. Apart from that, they didn't really have any sort of high quality opportunities, and you got to give credit to Spurs for restricting that and making sure that any opportunity they did have was a really low probability one.
Yeah, absolutely. I was happy from that aspect, and I thought we gave them a bit too much encouragement in the first half and sat off them a bit too much, and that did change in the second. But, you know, it's Burnley at the end of the day. No disrespect to Burnley, but they're just coming up. They weren't exactly, scoring with a flurry. Their main thing was keeping clean sheets and restricting the opposition. They started with a back five, and that was clearly their instruction to do for us yesterday. They had that plan to do, and we broke them down 3 times and could have had a few more goals, to be honest, if Richarlison would have finished that chance. Look, bigger test to come. We got Man City next weekend, and Man City looked like the most impressive team of the weekend so far. So we'll see how it goes next weekend, but against Burnley, it's a good start. But that is our 5 takeaways, the 5 things that we did learn from the 3-0 win against against Burnley. And let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We've got a super chat from Mr. Brian Kim.
Come on, Brian.
Big up to the soul of soul. And he says, let's go top 5 again. Now, come on, Brian. We're going for bigger things than top 5, surely.
I hope, well, I don't know. Yeah, sure. Come on, we're going to win it all.
That's got to be the ambition anyway.
Got to win it all.
All right, let's move on and let's see how the internet did react to everything that happened yesterday. And first up is all things THFC. This was the West Ham away end yesterday when Mohamed Kudus got shown on the Sky Sports screens. This was
fantastic. They weren't too happy about it, put it that way. It's not something we could sing ourselves. Well, that bit is, but they said, Kudus, you're a C-bomb.
They don't care about him leaving, though.
They're not bothered. Oh, you have him. We don't care. We're not bothered about it. We're not going to bring banners about him being a snake to the stadium.
So they showed him warming up, and then they must be all checking their phones. Oh, Kudus assist. What? Kudus another assist. Brilliant.
Kudus showboating. What's going on?
Digital Spurs, look at this. Richarlison yesterday, and then Richarlison in the World Cup for Brazil. It was pretty much a carbon copy goal, wasn't it?
I think everyone, when that goal went in, is like, we've seen that before somewhere. I recognise that. That was, as you said, the goal against for South Korea for Brazil. Fantastic. And he's got that in his locker. We know when he's in that kind of mood, he's got that kind of flexibility to pull those kind of finishes off. And just want to see him more regularly. But yeah, brilliant.
Bit apprehensive to bring up this next one, judging by the news today, but let's hope that this is going to age a bit better. This from Football Confidential, saying, if you want a small taste of what Arsenal fan base will be like once Eberechi signs for Spurs, have a watch of this.
No, we want, no. This is not what we want. We need. This is the that we need. No.
Oh my God. That is phenomenal.
Let's just pray that this is going to age well, please.
Oh, we can't bungle this, man. We cannot bungle this. The meltdowns are going to be too much. Just for the meltdowns, man. It's worth the money.
A new flag in the South Stand yesterday, courtesy of THFC Flags.
Big
Lads, it's Tottenham, and it says Bilbao 2025 underneath it. That's a brilliant one, isn't
Fantastic. We've changed the narrative, people. We've changed the narrative, and that's what it looks like, winning a trophy. That's what it does for you.
XG Philosophy, the unexpected goal of the week is Richarlison scoring from a 0.05 XG. Unbelievable.
And one thing we didn't mention as well for this goal, apparently it was 17 passes and every single player on the pitch touched it.
Yeah.
Every single teammate. So impressive, very impressive.
Really impressive.
The fact the whole team got involved, and obviously the way it finished as well. And also that was Richarlison's only touch in the build-up to that goal was his finish. So fantastic.
This next one, there was a proposal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. So he brought his shirt on the back of it. It says, "Will you marry me?" And then he's got a shirt another shirt, I guess, for the woman that says, "Yes, I do." A bit presumptuous.
Very presumptuous.
Luckily, it all went to
Is there a
plan.
no shirt, do you think? Just in case.
No, but beautiful. to see.
Congratulations. We'll love a nice proposal, the lane. Well, that's going to be very memorable.
Yeah. Alex THFC saying, "Cheers, guys," and obviously. There's a clip that is quote retweeted. This is a West Ham podcast, and he's like, they're saying like, "Oh, we've had Tottenham's pants down here, 55 million for Mohamed Kudus."
Yeah.
You having a laugh?
Yeah, he's like, "He ain't worth 55 million. His release clause is because I was an overpayment. He ain't even worth 40, mate." That's what they're saying. But
I love it though. Like they're saying like, "Oh, we've had Tottenham's pants down here," but then in the next sentence he's like, "Oh yeah, but you never want to really see him go to Tottenham, do you? If you don't want to, if he's that bad, yeah, why don't you want to see him go to Tottenham?"
But I just love it, mate. You're losing 3-0 to Sunderland on the opening day, and like you're saying, "Oh yeah, we didn't need Kudus anyway." Like you need all the help you can get. You need anyone right now. And you're saying, "Yeah, we're happy we would let Kudus go 55 million." Mate, you're in dire straits.
Exactly.
You need to get your act together.
Watching West Ham Fan TV last night was brilliant. All the fan cams yesterday was basically all the same saying.
West Ham Fan
Yeah.
TV and chill, is that becoming the new thing?
Yeah, that's the new thing. And they're saying they're in a relegation scrap this season. And if you're losing 3-0 to Sunderland, don't bet against
Yeah, they
it.
don't need Kudus, though. They don't need Kudus.
Lucas Bergval's games by numbers yesterday. 19 out of 22 passes completed, 2 out of 2 successful dribbles, 3 passes into the final third, 2 out of 2 tackles won, 1 clearance, 1 headed clearance, 1 ball recovery, and 4 out of 6 ground duels yesterday as well. Star boy and a dominant performance in the midfield.
Yeah, and I think he's only going to get better as well. It's easy to forget, you know. He's also. I know it was a while ago, but he had an injury at the back end of last season, and he's off the back of that. So I'm sure he's still got to like get back to his absolute best. But I think, you know, because I don't think we've seen that. We haven't seen the performances we saw just before he got injured just yet.
Yeah, I
But
think
he will.
this is probably the best of the lot of what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Lily White Lab saying that second half performance is what the lane has been missing for years. A real entertainer. Look at that bit of showboating
Yeah.
from Mo Kudus.
So unnecessary. I have to say this is a 1-0, so maybe he had to make sure we got the game done before we start doing this. But still, never going to complain about a bit of showboating. Lovely.
Simon Yamene, this is Cuti Romero. Brought his son out as a mascot before the game as his first day as captain in the Premier League.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm surprised he didn't slide tackle him.
This guy is probably going to have a slide tackle on lock. Like he's probably just slide tackling with him through his living room. This was Savinho yesterday on Instagram, as Pep Guardiola said he's injured and not available for Wolves game today. Savinho is taking selfies in the gym. I'm not sure if that's at home or at Man City's complex or whatever, but as soon as Pep Guardiola said that he's injured, he's taking a selfie and I'm uploading it on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's trying to send out a message or whatnot, but it's a weird one. If he is trying to send a message, what is he trying to say? Like, I'm not injured, so he should be playing me? Or if he is pushing for a move, or is he trying to signal I am looking for a move? Or I don't know. Or is he just posting a selfie and we're all reading too much into it? I don't really know.
The timing was very suspicious, though.
Yeah, but what is the message?
I don't know what the message is.
You know what I
Maybe
mean?
the message is, look, I'm fit and I'm in the gym working. I don't know.
But if Pep's saying, oh, he's
Maybe
injured.
it's a message to Tottenham fans. I'm coming, people.
Is it Tottenham? Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the message would be. To be honest, I'm a bit perplexed.
But let us know what do you take from that selfie? Is there anything to take from the selfie? Let us know in the comment section.
Selfie gate.
Yeah. Huncho says what they see and what I see. Neymar. Prime Neymar as well.
I think Kudus have to score a few more goals before that comparison is accurate.
This is a brilliant transaction on social media yesterday. I don't know if you've seen this. A West Ham fan tweeted out saying, hi, and he added as Barclays UK help. He says, I have a transaction of around £800 coming out of my account in June 2025 from West Ham United with the reference season ticket. I would like to report this transaction as fraud and get my money back. Please see this with complete urgency. Thank you. And Barclays replied saying, hi, I've just seen the final score. DM us if you need support to get through this. Kate. and then he reported back saying, 120 million of your great British pounds to buy 2 central midfielders who can actually play football would do quite nicely, to be honest, Kate.
Phenomenal banter. Yeah, West Ham fans are melting down.
Yeah.
It's great to see.
Another West Ham fans have put a banner of Mo Kudus in a pub in Sunderland with a snake wrapped around him saying Judas. But they don't care that he's
Yeah,
dead.
they ain't bothered, mate. They ain't bothered. Let him go. Let him have him. Let Spurs have him. He's not even good. One of our worst players, mate. We're not bothered.
Whilst they're losing 3-0 to Sunderland.
Exactly. That's what they care about.
This Richarlison post on Instagram was absolutely brilliant after the game. R9, Richarlison's face morphed into R9's body.
Yeah, he loves that, doesn't he, Richie?
Football Confidential, 13 goals in 16 Premier League starts, 9 goals in 9 starts at home. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Richarlison is one of the best strikers in the world when he stays fit and injury-free.
Well, I don't know
think
about
that?
best strikers in the
Best
world,
strikers
but
in the world?
I wouldn't go that far. But I think he's a very good striker. Yeah, I think best strikers in the world is a bit much, but he has a great look. He has a brilliant scoring record. I wonder if you go 16 starts. When is that? Is that like November 2023 under Ange in his first season?
Probably. If that.
You know what I mean?
If that. ONTHFC saying, well played today, Geese. Keep it up. He just recorded like a pigeon just walking through the street.
What a lad. What a legend. Love that.
Yido Gus saying, Prudus Nation.
Yeah, Prudus. I like that. I like the link. I like the name. Prudus. That's going to get going.
Yeah. So we've seen that reaction from an Arsenal fan. August goal of the month is already over. Is Premier League goal of the season already over? If you just scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's.
Is that goal of the season already?
Well,
Week 1.
I think it's a contender. I think you've already got a contender for goal of the season. I think when you got to take into account the build-up and the finish, it's up there.
Yeah. This is what selling Kudus to your biggest rivals does to a man. Let's see this reaction from a West Ham fan.
Next season, then it deserves to be sacked. I need a fucking jump shot for the win the Conference League against Fiorentina because I hate this shit. I hate my life. I can't take this anymore.
I hate my life. Oh my god, that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
Paul O'Keefe bringing up that showboating from Kudus, just saying filth. I mean, can watch this on repeat.
Yeah, lovely little bit control from Kudus.
This was Mr. Alex THFC. We brought this up on the update yesterday, but if you haven't seen it, we'll bring it up again. And he says, I've just dropped off Johan Lang at Heathrow Airport straight after the game on Uber. I drove to the game and decided to do some work after. Obviously, I questioned him on Eze, and I said, is it true the reports he wants to join us? He replied, that would be nice. I said, I heard he may not be in the squad tomorrow, and he said, we'll find out tomorrow.
Oh, we found out, didn't
And
we?
we did find out,
And he's
yeah.
starting.
He also asked about Hincapié, and he said, believe what you are reading. He wasn't giving too much away at all, totally professional, and so he should. It's his job. Don't expect him to say, yes, we are getting him, but seemed a lovely bloke. Agent Alex, live and direct. I am the real ITW, and I think he meant ITK, not these frauds on here.
Alex, the Uber driver. So now he's one taxi driver we can all listen to.
Yeah.
We can all listen to after all the. You get a lot of taxi drivers saying they all like spoken to this one and that one. But I do believe what he's saying. I believe he said all
why are
that.
Spurs getting an Uber for Johan Lang? Do they not have like private drivers they can just send him to an airport in?
No, Levy got him an Uber Premium again. That's enough, isn't it?
Mitch Fretton says Mohamed Kudus is already 1 assist away from his total tally for West Ham in the Premier League last season. The player wasn't the problem. He's finally been given the proper tools.
Come on.
Absolutely. Pape Matassar after the game saying, starters we mean to go on, happy to be home. And we're happy to have you home, Pape.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a start to the season. This is going to be a big season for him. I think we can all feel it.
Chris Cowlin, the emotion and passion from Thomas Frank on the sidelines, Tottenham versus Burnley. He's just so animated on the sidelines, and a lot of people using that as a comparison to Ange Postecoglou, who was very motionless on the sidelines.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference there for sure. He's he's always talking to the players and very animated. And I actually think, in a weird way, not in a weird way, but I think because we're a young team, like we do kind of need that. I feel like with Ange's approach, it might work if you're a team with a lot more experienced players. Like, Ancelotti, he doesn't really move on the touchline, but because he's got a team of very experienced players, you've got Cruz and Modric and whatever on there, they're basically running things on the pitch for you. They've got a lot of experience there, so you don't need to be on the touchline shouting. They've got it covered on the pitch. But when you've got a lot of young, inexperienced players that need a bit of help and guidance, it's good to have someone like Frank there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Laffy says Prudus, and this was the SofaScore ratings for Mohamed Kudus and Richarlison yesterday. Kudus 9.0 with 2 assists and Richarlison a 9.5 with 2 goals. I think Richarlison's been robbed there of a 0.5.
100%. He should be a 10 for sure. I guess one more goal, hat trick, and he gets a 10. I'm guessing.
SZY Comp says Richie and Kudus, and I don't know if you've seen, but like behind the scenes, they've seemed to have formed a real bond already, and it's shown on the pitch.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We need those kind of connections on the pitch to start forming, so it's really, really great.
Spurs OTM says Spurs love taps from Pape and Richie. I saw this yesterday. Yeah. When we scored,
he was battering him. Look at that.
Pape was just smashing him.
He's not holding back, is he? He is absolutely going for it. It's like one of those movie scenes where someone's got him on the ground, just smashing him over and over.
This guy's got a bad injury record, mate. Calm down a little bit.
Gonna give him concussion.
Again, the showboating. What was that comment saying?
Richie injured with the concussion for the next 6
Yeah, there you go. Just calm down, Pape, yeah? Next one, joke of a player from Kudus. There's a showboating again. And look at this angle of the goal yesterday. That is such an unreal angle.
Oh, the power he gets on it as well.
Yeah.
There's just the technique is phenomenal. Really is phenomenal.
Just hit that
Richie.
sweet spot of the ball.
Yeah,
didn't you?
fantastic.
No context Tottenham saying they don't know how I throw it really far.
Well, actually, Bergvall was the one doing the long throws yesterday.
Yeah.
I wonder where he came in the long throw competition.
Yeah, they were decent as well, Bergvall's throws.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Pictures that go hard. This is Richarlison. I don't know if that was the first or second goal celebration, but
Lovely,
decent picture.
Great picture there.
Kuti leading the team out for the very first time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Well, we mentioned yesterday, Porro was one who did the team talk, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did the team talk first half, and Vicario did it second half.
Interesting.
Daniel as well, showing us that Mohamed Kudus banner from the West Ham fans yesterday, and that is how the internet did react to the game. Some unbelievable reactions as always from you guys out there on social media, and I think that is that. One last super chat from Reefer saying love Richie, too early to name him R9, but that's what he is. That's
He's
what
R9.
He wears number 9 for Brazil. His initial is R. He's R9.
We're not naming him R9. He is R9.
Exactly.
It's not us saying it. That's just what it is.
It's just it's been bestowed upon him.
Exactly.
But yeah, I want to thank you all for joining us today. Obviously, any more developments regarding Savinho and Eze?
There has been a little one. Ollie Glasner has been talking to, where is it?
What's he said?
He said, advice to all the children watching us not to believe everything you read in the newspapers.
God.
That is what Glasner has said on Eberechi Eze. He's calling us children. He's having our pants down.
Bloody.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's what Ollie Glasner said.
read into that what you will, people. Is it just another tactic to get a bit more money? I don't know. But
He's been
we'll see.
pictured with an inhaler, Eze. Does he have asthma? Oh, little thing.
Anyway, yeah, we'll see you all very soon, people. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.